What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a found footage film that is a few years older now. And as you guys know, I love found footage. I talk about quite a bit of found footage on my channel. And this is one that's been on my watch list for a while. I saw it in like a list, someone's list of like their favorite found footage films of the past like 20 years. And I didn't know much about this. Honestly, I've seen the poster and read the little plot description. So I just jumped in completely blind and checked this out. And the movie I'm going to be telling you about today is Followed. Followed is directed by Antoine Le. Social media influencer Drop the Mic seeks thrills and stardom in the most horrific places. When he's offered the possibility of a lucrative sponsorship, he takes his online channel to one of the most haunted hotels in America. What begins as a fun challenge accompanied by friends descends into a personal hell, begging the timely question, how far would you go to pursue internet fame? So I was really excited to watch this movie. Like I said, I didn't know much about it beforehand other than reading the plot description, knowing it was going to be about another social media influencer, which a lot of these found footage films are, and it really makes sense because it just fits the format really well. And what I will say about this is it's very enjoyable, but it's incredibly flawed. I had fun with it, but I feel like I enjoyed the character building and the relationships between the characters more than I did any of the supernatural elements. I feel like once it really starts to take off and kind of dives into the supernatural element and the story that it's trying to get across to you, it sort of loses itself and gets a little bit convoluted to where I feel like the ending is a little unsatisfying. I was just expecting a lot more from something like this, but I still had fun watching it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it today. So, the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to Mike, or Drop the Mic, who runs a YouTube channel where he goes and explores different places, and he's building up a decent following for himself. He's trying to gain more followers, and he gets a little bit of a hint that he might be able to obtain a lucrative sponsorship if he goes to this incredibly haunted hotel. And the biggest thing about the hotel is a woman went to the hotel and played what is known as the elevator game, which, if you're into true crime at all, super fascinating. Highly recommend checking out, reading about it. It's really interesting, where essentially you take the elevator to different floors of a hotel and it essentially transports you into an alternate dimension. And so him and his friends that he operates this YouTube channel with go to this hotel to stay. And of course, weird things starts happening to them. They start uncovering information about the hotel, different things that have gone on there. Watching this group experience these supernatural things in real time. So like I said, this movie is enjoyable. It's definitely very flawed though, but I'll start with the positives. I really liked the actors in this movie. I saw a lot of complaints online that they're like, oh, they're super annoying and over the top, but they felt like believable influencer types. I feel like you could really feel the years of relationship that these people have with one another. I felt like their rapport, the way they joked around with each other, it didn't feel artificial. It really just felt like a group of friends that make social media content together, which I think is the most important thing that you can accomplish in a movie like this. Is like, if you're going to build these characters up to make us care enough that when they're put in danger that it works, you've got to approach the casting and how you get these guys to act with each other work in a believable way. And I think that's the strongest element of this movie is the performers. I thought they all did a really fantastic job. Even though there's no real big names in this movie, all of the people who perform in it do a really nice job. I also enjoyed the setting of this at this hotel. I feel like there's a lot of genuinely unsettling moments, and I feel like especially there's a scene really early on that they fly this drone into like the basement boiler room area of the hotel, and it was genuinely one of the most unsettling moments of the movie. I really love when found footage films have great setting and environment, and I thought that was one of the stronger elements of this movie. And there's also some cool moments with some entities and things that are showcased on screen that the director does a really nice job building up that tension and suspense and making you as a viewer feel incredibly uncomfortable, which is what this movie should do. And it was my favorite part of the experience overall. But that sort of leads me into the negatives that I have with this movie. When it started to get into the supernatural, I was really excited with the whole elevator game element, but then they started adding more and more and more to where I feel like it's trying to juggle way too much. And some of the scare scenes and how they tried to visually depict some of these entities, I don't think it comes across as terrifying as it probably should have. And it's the pacing of the back half of this thing. It's really clunky. It's kind of hard to get into. I feel like the most horrifying element of the entire film is when Mike, our lead character, towards the end, goes into the basement boiler room area by himself. As I said a minute ago, like personality and found footage is really what works for me the best, like building up that environment, having that like really strong sense of dread associated with where a character is at. And that whole set of scenes was really great. I enjoyed that part of the movie a lot, but I wanted more of that. I feel like they jump around characters a lot and kind of showing how, there's a little bit of a descent into insanity with where these characters are in this space and like how it's affecting them mentally. And they try to spend time on those elements as well to kind of get you as a viewer in the headspace of these people who are working on this project together. But there's also other things, like they find this like old abandoned food cart on top of the roof, and like it's cool in theory, but stuff like that felt more like shock value than actually like getting a payoff at the end. And when you're figuring out what's going on towards the end of the movie, I just felt like it was so messy that I didn't really get a clear and concise feeling of what they were trying to say, because of how much of the different supernatural elements that they were trying to incorporate in the experience overall. But like I said, like despite all of those flaws, it's still really entertaining, and I think a large part of that is due to the actors in this, and also like the commentary on influencer culture. I mean, this is being done over and over and over again, but this movie does a nice job showing like this is what this guy wants to do. He's married to a woman who is in the medical field, and I feel like in his head he's like, if I can get really popular, I can make it so she can work less and have more of a life. And yeah, it's stated that they're going to have a kid, and there's like all these things in his life, and it's like he has this desire for success that's also attributed to how it can impact his family life. And I think that's really interesting, because a lot of people get into the influencer world because they know they can make content for the internet and like make their families' lives better with the money that you can bring in from ad revenue, rather than working a traditional 9 to 5 job. And so I like that part of the movie a lot. I liked the supernatural elements of it a lot less, which is disappointing because that's what you get into these type of movies for. But I would say, like, despite the issues that I have with the film and that I don't think it's perfect, I think there's enough here that makes it worth checking out if it sounds interesting to you. So have you seen Followed? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this was really entertaining. I definitely don't think it's a perfect movie by any means, but I still had a lot of fun with it. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.